Hi, everybody. Welcome to Meet the Mailers. I'm Paul Bobnak for Who's Mailing What, and today I'm talking with Liran Kapoano. He is the founder and COO of DK Solutions. Let's get into it and talk about your modeling services and how using that improves response and generating leads and all of that stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of times when we start talking about this with a prospective client or even someone who's signed on with us and we're talking them through the process, it can be a little hard to wrap your head around it. You know, you just pay a little extra for data and it's just magically better. Like, no, it's not. There's not like some secret sauce or hypnosis or anything like that, right? There's no magic over here. It's just very simply, we take a list of your customers and we see what do they have in common, what makes them what makes them them, what are their demographics, their age, how much money do they make. I mean, your typical stuff like a lot of people think of in terms of what matters in terms of a customer, but also what are their buying patterns? Are they a Macy's person? Are they a Nordstrom person? Not exactly the same thing, right? Do they drive a minivan? Do they drive an SUV? Do they drive a sedan? What kind of credit card do they have? Do they collect coins? I mean, do they have a pet? Things that have absolutely nothing to do with the actual product,
Right?
But that are shared behaviors and interests that a group of people share, and then we will go into a zip code, and we will say, okay, here's 100, 1,000, 10,000 people that live in this area. Which of them look the most like these people that we modeled for? And that's in essence what it is. Like, imagine the way I try to explain it is, imagine you had a group of 100 people, right, walking down the street, and of those 100 people, 3 or 4 of them would be your customers, right? Well, you could try to market to all. You could try to convince all 100 of them to buy what you're selling, but there's probably 10 or 20 of those people that are much more likely to be interested than the other 80 or 90. And those 3 or 4 sales are almost definitely within those 10 or 20 people. So rather than trying to dig through everyone and getting to those interested people, we will only focus on those 10 to 20 people where the vast likelihood, 90-95% of your customers are going to reside. So it's almost never cost effective to try to chase down those 1 or 2 people that we might miss.
Right.
And that's effectively how it works. It's not so much that our data, our lists are magically more responsive. It's just that we're cutting out the people that would never really respond. Like, we like to think of ourselves as a waste reduction company, more than an interest generation company, right? Although we'll do that too.
Okay. Right. So speaking generally, what can marketers do to use data better?
Well, they should come to us first of all, but for just some free advice, I guess. You really have to. It depends on what kind of business you are, right? If you're a pizza guy, you're probably not too worried about data, right? Let's say you're a Dish Network retailer, for example, or a cell phone, reseller, or anything that requires, things like a credit, anything that requires like a credit score. And you have a larger company, let's say, that's paying you a bounty. Well, some companies will pay more money for a better customer. If you have enough customers, why not model for the kinds of people that take the most expensive package and are worth the most amount of revenue to you, and only target for those people, right?
Yep, makes sense.
That's something that a lot of companies don't do, even if they do modeling, because they just look at their entire customer base. And they don't, they don't really think of well, which of these customers are worth more to me? What if I could only talk to people who were similar to those kinds of people, have the same kind of behavioral patterns, right? That's something that often that a lot of companies that even do understand data don't do that kind of thing.
Gotcha. So talking about like why direct mail still works today, why it works well, how have things like the pandemic and omni-channel, how have they, affected how direct mail works?
Okay, so the biggest thing about the pandemic, the obvious thing I think that a lot of people recognize is a lot more people are working from home. And when you're working from home, you're probably more likely to check your mailbox every day. That's the obvious answer that I feel like pretty much everyone gets. For me, the biggest change about the pandemic is that, and it's it's some economists have talked about it, but I don't think that it's really like entered into the psyche of your typical business person, is the extreme increase in household formation. And so you had a massive increase in migration into suburbs, and a lot of new home purchases and a lot of new homeowners. There's a big difference between having a mailbox that you share with 5 people that everyone just crams all their stuff into, and by the time you get it out, it's all crumpled up, and you don't even really care what's in there anyway, because it's probably all bills or quote unquote junk mail, right? But when you own a home, different animal, right? Totally different story. Right. You can't ignore your mail. You get stuff from the township, you get stuff from the county, you get tax information, you get a renewal for your pet rabies shots, and dog collar information with the local city. You get Amazon packages, maybe small ones, put into your mailbox. So you have to check your mail. So what had previously been the domain of, oh, this is really mostly for senior citizens and people who like to sift through their mail all the time, and not so much for millennials or Gen Xers or whatever. That I think is completely. First of all, there's a whole new batch of homeowners that their data is accurate and up to date. That by default gives us a whole new universe of people to target. But then just on the other side of that, the idea of mail is for people over 55. I think that's outdated, and I think it was always outdated, by the way. But right. I can tell you that our average age of the responder since the pandemic, that has decreased significantly.
Okay.
Whereas it was maybe in the 50s at one point, now it's in the 40s. Okay. And the only way that happens is by having a lot of 30s and 20, maybe not so much 20s, but late 20s and early to mid to late 30s, dragging that average down. And that I think is a sea change in mail.
Yep. Well, I think that's a great place to end things today. Yep. How can people find out more about your company, DK Solutions, for possible partnership or for consultation?
Yeah, so that's our website, actually, up back there, dksmo.com. You can read all about what we do. We have a whole series of blogs that talk about direct mail in general, data modeling in general, as well as some of the stuff that we do ourselves. We're also 100% carbon neutral, even past neutral. Every year we calculate how many trees had to be taken down to create our mail products, and we pay to plant triple the amount of trees than what had to come down. So
that's terrific.
So that's the reason why I said that was just because that was one of the things that we talk about on our website. So you can read about that there too.
Cool.
And obviously you can call us, and you can look for me on LinkedIn. Or my business partner Joel, he's the CEO. You can reach out to either of us. He's got a lot to say too, but
Well, thanks again, Liran, for joining us today on Meet the Mailers, and thank all of you out there for joining us as well. Again, if you have any questions for us or for Liran Kapoano again of DK Solutions, drop them in the box below. You can show your support for the program by tapping the like button and click on subscribe to be notified of new videos when they're added to the channel. If you want to be highlighted in the future Meet the Mailers, I want to hear from you. So my contact info can be found in the paragraph below by tapping Show More. Thanks again for watching Meet the Mailers, and see you next time.